Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. I did a video a couple weeks ago about Pokemon Fusion Strike, and I showed some price history of boxes before and after the release date, just to see how pre-orders kind of affected things and how much money people wasted on pre-orders. So I'm going to do that again, but I'm going to do it for Crimson Vow. I'm going to do it for set boxes, collector boxes, and draft boxes. But then I'm also going to come up with the exact number this time, how much people overpaid for pre-orders. Um, the nice thing is, this analysis today, we've had 2 weeks since the release of this product. So 2 weeks now, you could just walk up, buy it anytime you want. So we've had time to really see what will the market kind of settle out to. So I pulled all that pricing data, and this looks kind of like a mess. But, these first several columns are set boxes, and then the next several columns are collector boxes, and the last set that goes off the screen are draft boxes. So I pulled all the data out, and then I just made a data series out of it that said what was the average price per box for every day of the pre-order, and then the release date, and then all the post-release days so far, all 14 of them. And then I took some total metrics. There have been, of the set boxes, 1,500 of them have sold on TCG Player. Total cost was at $187,000, and so the average cost is $123. But and then I pulled out the release date price, how many boxes were pre-orders, the total value of all the pre-orders, and so the average pre-order, and then I took the difference between the average pre-order and the release date price. So and then multiplied it by the number of boxes. So if everybody had just waited until release date to buy instead of pre-ordering, how much money would all of them collectively have saved? And, on set boxes, it was only $500. So it wasn't much. That means the price of a set box throughout the pre-order, on average, was pretty similar to the price of a set box post-release. For the collector boxes, quite a bit different. People more or less threw away about $8,900 by pre-ordering on that between the 900 boxes that were pre-ordered. And, it's not a perfect comparison because obviously the market would respond differently if not a single person pre-ordered during the pre-order period and then they all slam the market at once on release day. So it's not perfect, but we can kind of get an idea. And then here for draft boxes, about $7,000 total of essentially extra costs. So I plotted it all up and I summed it up here. So in total, $16,500 between all those, close to 2,000 or so boxes on TCG Player. And then I just plotted the time series here. And, what you see is that red line, the collector boxes. Man, can you imagine being one of those people who paid over $320 back then in August when the pre-orders opened, and even in that 200 to 300 range? Now the release date is actually right here where this yellow line takes this dip. That was the release date. And so you can see those collector boxes have come down since release. So virtually everybody who pre-ordered a collector box paid too much. A lot more interesting story on these set boxes. They actually spiked up before the release. They didn't just see a slow, constant melting throughout the pre-release period like we saw with Fusion Strike. But again, it's been pretty lackluster. There hasn't been a lot of movement at post-release, and the draft boxes have actually gone down. I made a video on Friday for the TCG sealed deals, and the Crimson Vow draft box was my number one pick for the week because its price has come so low relative to the other Crimson Vow products and so low relative to other draft boxes. So, this is interesting data. It's not what I expected. I expected to see more constantly melting prices through the pre-release period like we saw with Fusion Strike. But I think it is a pretty good piece of evidence, once again, that pre-orders don't really help you out that much. On average, you would have lost money, again, pre-ordering Crimson Vow just like you would have Fusion Strike. And, I'll do this for a while, see what the feedback is. I think it's real interesting to look at these data and see exactly what goes on and try to get people to spend their money more wisely and not pre-order. Because, again, the pre-orders aren't allowed to ship until release day, maybe the day before, something like that. And so you're really not getting the product earlier when you pre-order. You're just potentially paying way more money for it. So if you like this kind of thing, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade. I'd love to have you. Thanks a lot.